Okay, so for the gallery.php page, this is where we're going to actually be displaying the results of um, our image uploads for our gallery. So when we first go through this, because I haven't shown you the CSS yet, it's going to look kind of bad. Everything's going to be stacked. All the photos are going to be of varying sizes, whatever their original resolution was. So it's not going to be ideal. But go ahead and create a gallery.php page in the main section. So just click on this main workspace pane right here so that the border is in blue. Make a gallery.php page. And what we're going to start off with is going to be our opening PHP section right here. And we're going to require our header.php. And normally we would want to check for whether they're logged in or not, but we're already kind of doing that. We should still do it, but I'm not going to. Okay, just close out that PHP section at the top, and we're going to get into our main section. Now, when I just type in the word main without the opening angle brackets like that, it allows me to do a little bit of code completion. It's not that much, so don't get too excited. Oops. Can I do that with the link as well? Yeah. And the href for this one's going to be CSS, and it's going to be gallery.css. Now, it's going to complain when we go and serve this because we don't have a gallery.css, but that's fine. We can ignore those complaints for right now. We're going to have an h1, and it's going to be gallery. And then we're going to have another div in here. But this class is going to be gallery-container. And this is what we're going to define the holder, the container for all of our images. So we'll be able to format that in a little bit. We're going to have an image, an anchor tag, and a few other little pieces that we're going to grab from our database. But this is where we actually have the main functionality is coming from this little PHP segment that we're going to define in here. So just open and close a PHP tag within this div. I'm going to format this HTML in the PHP so it just separates things out a little bit better. Inside this PHP tag, we're going to include, if I can spell correctly, include once our DB handler. Wait, includes /DB handler .php, and that's going to be used to grab the it's going to be used to grab the gallery contents from our database, from our gallery database table. So our we're not going to have any inputs or anything. We're not letting the user define anything. So I'm not going to do a prepared statement. So what I'm just going to do is a SQL statement like so, where we select star from gallery. And to sort things in SQL, you use order by. And we have this column right here called upload_date. And I'm going to do it in descending order. And what that means is it's going to have the most recent entry first. So just make sure to check what your field name is. Make sure that it's upload_date. If you have a misspelling in there, that may be causing you issues where you can't see things. Like I said, the majority of the issues you guys will face at this point in time will probably be, I don't actually need this statement, will be typos. We're going to make a query. So I'm making this query variable, and that's going to be my SQLi underscore query. Doing a little code completion there. Thanks, VS Code. Here a mensch. And SQL. Boom. So that's our query. And then that's going to execute this SQL statement up here. All right. Now, the way that we're going to display all of them, not just like one at a time like we do for the profile picture, is we're going to have this while loop. And we're going to have a little bit of gobbledygook inside of here. So while, we're going to create another variable in here called row. We're going to fetch an associative array. So my SQLi underscore fetch assoc, and that's going to be query. Okay, so what's going to happen is while there is still a row in our gallery that we haven't pulled out yet, we're going to keep basically making one of these elements that we're going to have right here. We're going to have another one of these echo statements. And what we're doing here is we're just defining one like card basically. And while there is still a record in our gallery table that we haven't gotten through yet, we're going to put that information in this this little block right here, and we're going to keep displaying it. So you don't necessarily have to do this all within the echo statement. You could do it outside of it here. You could get probably like a little bit of code completion actually, and maybe make it look nice. The class is going to be card class. We're going to have an A tag. And that href is going to be to a review.php with a question mark and an ID equals inside these single quotes right here, we're going to have dot $row. And then inside of there is going to be PID. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't have a review.php page. What are you doing here, Mike? What I'm simply doing is you are going to have a review section next week. This is where we're going to actually have the reviewing capability introduced. And in order to do that, you need to basically pass the ID of whatever item you are going to be reviewing, so that you associate those individual reviews with a very specific object or a very specific meme or, I don't know, game or whatever it is you're going to be reviewing. Okay, so that's all we're doing here. All right, so we have this big old A tag, and inside of it, we are basically going to have an image, img. And the source for this is going to be gallery / two single quotes dot row. Remember the dot in PHP is concatenation, and this is where you're going to have pick path in double quotes, single quotes, no, double quotes. Oops. Make sure you put the dot right here. That's gonna be very pissed at me for this, but it's fine. I'm gonna delete this little alt bit because when I move it up into this echo statement between these divs, actually I'm gonna delete this div right here because I already made it right here. It's gonna be fine. So we're gonna have this image. We're gonna have an H3 block. And in here, in single quotes, is going to be another one of these dot row bits. But instead of pick path, it's going to be the title. And then we're going to have a p tag. And this is all going to be in single quotes. And that's going to be the description, which is descript right there. So let me just grab all this. And when I put it between these single quotes, everything should be pretty good. Unless it's not. Oh, I don't have a single quote right there. And now everything's good. So make sure that before the first dot for each of these rows right here, you have a single quote. And after the last dot for the square brackets, make sure that you have a single quote. What this does is it allows me to insert little bits of PHP in these strings right here and just concatenate everything together. Now, let me just try and serve this. There was an error. Ooh, that's not a real place right there, the header. Includes. Okay. There we go. All right, so we have our gallery. It just looks terrible right now because we haven't formatted anything. But as you can see, this goes through and it grabs all of the memes that I uploaded. And it also puts the title that I gave them. And as you can see, this is the last one that I put in. Number 3, 2, and then the first one I just did just random stuff on the keyboard. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to go back in here and we're going to start up the CSS for our gallery.css.